Hey folks, welcome back. I thought I would share something else. It's really neat. I got these Walkie Talkies here by Midland back years ago, and honestly, I don't even recall how I stumbled across them. It may have been at a yard sale or something. But probably like many of you out there, when I was a young kid back in the 70s. I had so many different sets of walkie-talkies, Midland, Ross, don't even remember all the other brands at the time. But I know my mom and dad are glad that I grew up and moved out of the house, because I was always wanting the next electronic gadget, especially things like this. I was fascinated with electronics at an early age, and I had a really, really bad habit. I would take things apart and never put them back together. So, yeah, there's another cool story that I remember with my grandfather who's passed. He had a TV set that he wanted me to work on at one time, and said no problem. And I took it apart and had it laying in his basement in a million parts. And I just remember the look on his face when he saw that for the first time, because I don't think I ever got it back together, nor did I make it work. But anyway, I think that was a motivator for me to better understand electronics at an early age. So I've been in the technology, electronics, telecommunications industry for well over 40 years now. So what a really cool set of walkie-talkies. I love the graphics, the artwork on the box. I think that's what makes this so neat. And hopefully we can make these things work, or maybe they do work. Again, a really cool communicator. Walkie-talkies, one pair. Came with batteries back in the day. I reckon they could get by with that because they sold them so often. Everybody was buying these, and I think this is one of the cheaper sets that were available. Again, you can see it defaults to channel 14, no license required. I don't remember the rules and regulations. I think it was somewhere around 100 milliwatts or so, if I recall back from that point in time. Again, it has 3 transistors. It looks like it's got a little 2-inch PM speaker at 8 ohms. But let's pop these things out of the box here, because it's been a long time since I looked at them. And I hope I didn't leave batteries in them. If I did, I'll have a bigger mess to clean up. But let me open this up here, and we'll take a look at the 2 walkie-talkies. Opened up here, take a look at it. Box is starting to get a little fragile there. Oh, that's pretty cool. Jeff W. And that's the same thing. It was on the box itself here. Hopefully that's showing up there. So here they are. Look to be in pretty good shape. Like I said, it's been a long time. And I can see here, based on the tag, it says these were manufactured. I was curious, what period in the 70s, but it looks like they were manufactured in June of 73. So that's pretty cool. I would have been, 13 or 14 years old at that time. You don't find this very often. I know that's not showing up on camera, but the telescopic antenna on this one is still in great shape. And the speaker grill that covers that little 2-inch speaker is in good shape as well. Good push to talk. On off with the volume here on the side. We'll pop this open here in just a moment. One other thing too, I'm guessing here's the Midland tag, but there's something sticky here. Somebody must have had the radios identified, and you know, who knows what the nomenclature was on there. It'd be fun to know, but maybe someone's name could have been brothers, sisters, or other. But this one looks to be in good shape as well. Antenna's a little tight. It probably needs a little drop of oil, but other than that, not bad. The cases are complete, and it looks like I've got the original. Get that out here without ripping it. Got the warranty paper as well. 90-day period. Wish you could get that today on electronics. So Midland Electronics, again, North Kansas City, Missouri. So it's pretty neat here. I think I'll scan this just to preserve a copy as well. But here's the owner's manual again, and we were kind of going through some of the features there. The telescopic antenna, the speaker and mic is all together, on off, and the push to talk. And here's something else pretty cool. You know, back in the day it was real common to be able to get the schematics were a part of the documentation that was sent out. So I'm not sure if this is even showing up on camera because it's hard for me to see, but you can see again the 3 transistors that were referenced, and again the 9-volt battery, the speaker, output transformer, etc. So it should be easy to troubleshoot if they're not working. So let's get into these things and pop them open here, and just one by one. And let's see, let me get a, you can see where this one's been opened numerous times here. Let me get a coin or something and just pop the back on this. We'll take a look inside. Alright, now just use the big screwdriver I've got here. That should work just fine, and it did. These things were a lot easier to get into than the some of the modern day plastics. I seem to struggle with some of that, but good thing is I didn't leave a battery in this thing, so I'm pleased that I didn't do that. And these things look to be mint inside. It's even got the original here. Use a standard 9-volt battery, and it's even referencing the Midland 20-604 or equivalent. And I see no water damage at all. So just wonder how often these were actually even used. I know if it were mine back in the day, I destroyed them. I had them outside in the rain, snow, ice, didn't matter. So in really good shape. See the crystal here, couple caps. There's not really much to the circuit. Again, the output transformer, some of the tuning itself, and again you've got the 3 transistors, 1, 2, and 3. The antenna's in good shape. Everything's still sealed up nicely. Let me pop the cover here on this other one and see what it looks like. Okay, hopefully this one will be in the same condition. And it is. It's just clean as can be. So let me run in the house and see if I've got, I don't even know if I've got some 9-volt batteries or not. Let me grab them, we'll turn these on and see if they're even functional at this point in time. Okay, I had a couple 9-volt batteries in the house and checked them here on the voltmeter, and they tested okay. Not fresh stock, but just right around 9 volts, so good enough for this study. Okay. Alright, let's turn this on and see what we get. I'm not getting much audio out of this. I've got the volume turned wide open. Get this one put in. Alright, let's just test real quick and make sure that our DC voltage here is good. Again, these batteries that I mentioned were not brand new stock, but you can see I'm still in an area where the receiver should work just fine, just under 9 volts. I've got the volume turned wide open. So tell you what I'm going to do. Let me run inside just for a minute. I'm going to take this schematic on my scanner and blow it up, or at least on the copy machine. I got to blow this thing up so I can actually work from it. Then we'll come back and we'll start doing some troubleshooting, see what we can come up with here. Okay guys, so I'm back. I was able to take that schematic and blow it up, and I've also got a digital copy here I can reference on the iPad, and I may do some picture-in-picture too as well, just to show the troubleshooting that we'll do. But just like an old antique radio, I'm going to start here with the loudspeaker in the audio section, just kind of work my way back and we'll see what we've got. Again, there's 3 transistors in the radio. This is going to be, looks like your RF. And I did cross-reference both of these transistors, and you can see both are PNP, Papa November Papa, and again you've got your base here on this side. That'll be your most negative point, and then your emitter here, and then the collector here. So we'll start doing some troubleshooting. I do have a nice little voltage reference chart here, so first thing I'll probably do is try to pop this out of the case itself and see if we can do some basic voltage measurements, and then I may do some signal tracing with the signal tracer as well. But we'll just take a look and see if these voltages here, if we can mirror those in the circuit itself. Maybe we'll actually discover the issue again just using these known voltages, and continue to work ourselves back from the audio section back here to the antenna side. So let me get things set up, see what I'm going to do here. Again, I'll probably just pop this out so it'd be easier to work with. Okay, I think I am going to just break this thing out of the case here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like screws to hold that on. Let me get these out real quick. I'll have to take the antenna loose as well. That's nice and tight. Let me get the correct screwdriver for that so I don't strip this out. Okay guys, hopefully this will show up on camera. Again, I've got my schematic out here, and again, I can troubleshoot this just like a old antique radio. I can start here with the speaker and come back. I already heard some racket out of the speaker, so I think it's fine. But again, you've got your audio output transformer here. Again, you got a couple PNP transistors and the associated components with the electrolytics, which should be problematic. But tell you what I'm going to do, just to kind of speed the process up. I'm going to inject an audio signal right here off of the center pin of the potentiometer that feeds back toward the audio amplification itself of the circuit, and let's see what we get. Now again, that doesn't mean that some of these other components are defective and my voltages are out of spec. We'll check those as well later, but just for some quick troubleshooting, I think my first insertion point is going to be here. So let me get everything hooked up and fire up the audio generator. So again, I'm going to generate a tone, and this is again the grounding section of the volume control here, and referencing this point here. And again, I'm going to come off and insert a signal at this point here off the center taper. And you can actually hear a little audio there when I click my lead pencil on it. That's one of the tricks you can do on a antique radio as well. So let me fire up the generator here. I've already got the radio, or the walkie-talkie, turned on, the volume control wide open, and I've got my test lead hooked to the screwdriver here, so I'm going to just use it and go to the center pin location, and I'll turn the gain up on the audio generator. Okay, that's a good sign. Now again, that doesn't mean that I have a problem, or don't have a problem here in this circuit as well, just due to the aging electrolytics, or maybe even a transistor that's not quite up to par. But I think I'm going to just move further back here and get into this RF section and see what we can discover in this part of the circuit here. Let me get this readjusted here so it's showing up. So again, we were actually inserting the signal here, and that was an audio signal, and it seemed to be pretty decent, good shape. So I would just speculate that I've got a problem somewhere back in this neighborhood. Maybe the circuit's just not oscillating the way it should. So let me just do a little further review, and then we'll look for my next insertion point at a RF level, and see what we can get here out of the little miniature loudspeaker over here. Okay, I did this just a bit ago with the little walkie-talkie inside the case, but I'm going to go ahead and hook my RF signal generator back up here on the rod antenna input, or the lead here, going back toward this part of the circuit. So the reason why, when I did that just a bit ago, I could tell it didn't seem like the oscillator was working correctly, because I just had a bunch of, regardless of what band I was on, I was able to hear the tone from the RF generator, but it was again across the whole spectrum, instead of being, looking at the design frequency of around 27 megahertz or so. Let me let's see, turn on the generator here, and I'm going to turn it up. And again, I've already got my leads placed here. You can see going to my RF input of the transceiver, and I've got my ground connection here hooked up, and you can hear just a bit. I've got the volume turned wide open. I'll just go ahead and continue to turn the RF generator up, and you can hear some audio from that. I'm in the low position. Let me increase the gain. So that's turned up extremely high, and I know you guys can't see this right now, but I'm just rocking my RF generator back and forth, going anywhere from let's see, 35 megahertz down to 10 megahertz, and you can tell there's no difference. So just an indicator there that the circuit for some reason is not oscillating. So we'll take a look and see why. Again, it's a tuned circuit, so we may have a problem with the crystal itself. One of these capacitors may be problematic, maybe the coil itself. So we'll poke around in here and see what we can get. First thing I'm going to do, I've got voltage reference charts here for this transistor. So I'm going to do some testing here on the transistor, and let's just check voltages here and see what we've got, since I've got these reference points for transmit and receive. So we'll check the receive side first. I'm assuming that's what the RT means. So let's just do these basic measurements and then we'll go from there. Okay guys, I think I discovered the issue.